Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we'll learn how to make this beautiful gown with ashoke. It has a pocket and it also has a belt at the back. As you can see, it is quite beautiful. Let's get right
So
into
for
it.
this style, you need your Ankara and Ashoke fabric. So the Ankara I used about 3 yards and the Ashoke I used about 2 pieces. So the full length of this gown I measured is 39 inches. 39 inches. You know it is two steps. So we're going to be taking out the upper part, which is 2 inches below my hip line. So the upper part now what we are cutting out is 26 inches. Also going to be needing your hip measurement, your half waist measurement, and also your shoulder measurement, which you have up on the screen. So we're going to start by marking out the vertical measurement. I've already marked out my starting line. So we're going to start by marking out the sleeve length, which is also going to serve as my bust point. I'm using 10. You can also use about 11 to 12 inches, depends on the person's size. So I'm marking out 10 inches for the shoulder line and the sleeve length rather. It's the sleeve is cut together. So the next thing we're going to do is to mark out the underbust, which I'm marking right now. The half waist rather, the half waist measurement, which is 16 inches. You're going to need the underbust measurement, but it is going to be later. So the next thing we're going to do is to measure the length. That's, remember I said we're going to be taking out is two step. So the first step, which is the upper part, I said it is the hip measurement 2 inches below the hip measurement. So hip line, the hip line is 24 plus 2 inches, making it 26. So it works that way. So I'm going to be marking out 26. Then remember that we have to add 1 inches allowance for joining because we'll be joining the gathers to this upper part. And I've already marked that out. And what we have now is 27 in total. So now we're going to go to the horizontal measurement. The first thing I'm going to mark is my shoulder measurement. The shoulder I'm working with is 15. 15 divided by 2, that's 7.5 inches. And after doing that, I'm going to mark how long I want my sleeve to be. So I want my sleeve in total to be 12 inches. The 2 inches is going to be for the ashoke, and then I'm going to measure 10 inches for the Ankara fabric. So I'm measuring exactly 10 inches here. That's how I want it to be. I'm not going to be adding any allowance to it. So I measured 10 inches, and of course I've already measured the length of the sleeve, which is 10 inches. So I'm just going to connect the lines together. So after doing that, what we're going to do next is to mark our neckline. So the width I'm working with is 2.7 inches. You can use 3 inches, but I wouldn't advise that you go beyond 3.5 inches because you don't want it to be too wide. And also, my fabric is folded into four. Sorry, I forgot to mention that from the start. My fabric is folded into four. I'm cutting both the front and the back together. I hope you understand. So when you're cutting yours, you can cut the front first, then you cut the back, and you can also do this. It's faster this way. So the width of my neck is 2.7, and remember it is folded into four, so we are cutting for the both necklines. So I'm just going to, for the depth, I'm going to measure in 1.5 inches. We're going to stop there first, and I'm just going to connect it. So after doing this, we're going to be getting our shoulder slant. I'm going to come down by 1 inches, and then I'm going to connect from my neckline to my shoulder slant. So this is what we're going to be working with first before we cut out the front neckline. So we're going to come to the sleeve length. We're going to be measuring our bust point divided by 4, sorry. That's 3 divided by 4. We have 8.2 inches. I'm going to be adding 3 extra inches allowance for ease, and then I'm going to be adding 1 inches for sewing allowance. I hope you understand. Then you just connect it from that shoulder. I didn't know that my camera was not wide enough, so you just connect from the shoulder to that point. So now on your half waist line, you're also going to measure your half waist divided by 4. The half waist I'm working with is 27.5, as I said, divided by 4. I'm going to add 3 extra inches allowance, and then I'm going to be adding 1 inches allowance for sewing, and then I'm going to connect it. If you do this, it's going to have shape. We are not going to be cutting it like the way we cut our normal bubu. So you're going to go to your hip line divided by 4 plus 3 extra inches, then we add your 1 extra inches for sewing, and then I'm going to connect it. So if you notice on the original style, the hip is kind of wide, it's kind of defined. So we're going to add 1 extra inches to the hip to give it that wideness, and then we're going to connect it back to the half waist. So now what we're going to do next is to just make a curve on this sleeve to avoid any ash line. So just going to give it a good curve. And after doing this, we're going to cut. So I'm done cutting, and after cutting we're going to separate the back and the front. Remember we cut the neckline for both the back and the front. So we're going to separate the back. Just pick out any piece you want to represent your back. Now we're going to focus on the front and try to cut out the neckline the way we want it to be. So you're going to arrange it properly and make sure that your neckline is matching. So remember that the neckline we cut is 2.7 inches, right? So now on this side, you're going to be measuring 2.5 inches. You know it is on fold. If you open it up, it's going to be about 5 inches. You don't want it to be too wide. So 2.5 inches, I'm going to mark it all the way to the down part, and then we're going to connect from that 2.5 inches to the neck width. I hope you understand. So I'm just going to connect it this way. So I'm done connecting, and the next thing we're going to do now is to cut. We are going to cut it out. Okay, so this is it, guys. I am done cutting, and this is what I cut out. So now let's move to the next step. So what we're going to do next is to join both the front and the back together. So you know that the front now, it is now two pieces. So we're going to be joining it like this. You're also going to do the same thing too for the left side. My camera could not capture everything, but I'm also going to be repeating the same process on this side, on the other side. So after doing that, you're just going to sew by the shoulder. I'm just trying to pin it down for you to see. So you're going to be joining it by the shoulder this way, and you're also going to be sewing by the side. Okay, so this is the other side. I'm also going to do the same thing to join it by the side. Okay, so before we join by the side, we're going to be adding our pocket. I've already joined it by the shoulder. So we're going to be fixing our pocket, and I've already cut it out. You see, it's 4 pieces because we need 4 pieces of this pocket. So what I did is the length of the pocket is going to be 7 inches. I added extra 1 inches allowance, half inches on both sides for joining, and then the width is also 8 inches. Then I just cut out a curve to just give it this shape. So what we're going to do now is to measure where we want our pocket to be fixed. I want it to be fixed on the half waist measurement. So vertically measure your half waist. Mine is 16. So you're going to make a notch under your half waist measurement. So I made a notch on that 16, that point. I hope you can see it. Then I'm going to pick one pocket, turn it over. Like you see, this is the good side of the fabric. Just pick one side and place your pocket on it like this. I hope you can see it. Let me just arrange it properly for you to see. On this notch line, you see this notch line here, you're going to be placing your pocket on. So you're going to be placing it like this in a way that the pocket is going to be facing inward. You see the way I did it. Remember that you're placing it on the good side of the fabric. So I'm just going to pin it, then we'll sew it like this. When you finish sewing, this is how it's going to look. So I'm going to take the other side too, which is the front, and try to like place it in a way that it is not going to be showing outside. You see that good side, I'm going to place my pocket like this. I hope you can see. Just watch it carefully. You know how I fixed it. I'm also going to pin it, and then I'm going to sew straight. Okay, so I am done sewing the pocket. This is how it looks. So what we're going to do now is to join everything together. Arrange your dress and make sure that everything is equal from the shoulder and everything. Make sure everything is equal, and then you sew like this. I'm going to arrange the pocket properly. So, and when you get to this point, just follow my instruction. So like this, and when you get to the pocket, you sew round up to this point and sew back down. So you're going to repeat the same process too for the other side. So I'm done, guys. I'm done sewing. I fixed the pocket, and this is how it looks. So I forgot two important things. I forgot the belt and also the band. You know, we are going to be adding Ashoke to the band. So please, you can add that before you proceed to join, but I'm going to do it later on in the video. So for now, we're going to start by measuring what we have here. We're going to measure it round so that we know the length of the ashoke that we're going to be adding. So I am done measuring and we have 63 inches in length, and that is going to be the length of our ashoke. So this is the ashoke. I have ironed it. I ironed everything together. I'm just going to cut off the excess when we're done joining. Do you get? So this ashoke is currently on fold. So on fold it is 3 inches. Remember that what we cut out is 2.5 inches. So that's plus 1 plus 5 0.5 inches, making it 3 inches for joining. I hope you understand. So I folded it. So we have 3 inches on fold, 2.5 inches plus 0.5 inches sewing allowance. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be folding it into equal parts. So I joined it right here. So I'm going to be using this joining as my midpoint. So for yours, if it doesn't have any joining, you can just mark it, you can just notch it. So on the neckline, I'm also going to notch the back to mark my midpoint. It is important that you iron it, but while ironing, please be careful so that you can have like a crease line for joining. I hope you understand. So I'm going to be using this joining as my midpoint. So it's going to be guiding me when I want to attach it to the main fabric. So you can see the line in the middle. This is going to guide me when I'm joining, when I'm sewing by the middle. Do you understand? So it is important that you please do yours if you can, but please be careful while ironing. So I'm just going to fold the ashoke like this and make sure that it is equal. So yours, just make sure that you fold it and it is equal. What we're going to be doing now is to mark out how deep we want the neckline to be. So for me, I'm going to be working with 12.5 inches. That is how deep I want my neckline to be. I don't think you should go less than 12 or 11 because you may not be able to wear it when you want to wear the dress. So the depth of it is 12.5 inches. Make sure you pin it so that it doesn't move. So I'm going to pin it like this. I've done that. So now what we're going to do is from that 12.5 inches, we're going to be sewing down. So you're going to sew from that 12.5 inches downward. I'm going to do that. I'm going to sew it and show you how it looks. So this is it, guys. I am done sewing it. As you can see, this is how it looks. So now what we are going to do is we're going to turn it over like this. Just at this point, I think you need to just watch carefully as I do this. So you're going to turn it over, open it up like this, and this is how it's going to look. You're going to have this opening, which is going to be your neckline and also the joining at the bottom. Okay, so this is how it looks. Just look at it. I'm going to be using this other side. I want this part with the golden color to be on the outside. So I'm going to take my midpoint on the ashoke and I'm going to join it to the midpoint on the main fabric. So you're sewing in a way that you're sewing on the good side of the fabric. Do you get? So that when you're done joining, the bad side is not, the joining is not going to be showing outside. So after doing that, I'm just going to drag it like this and pin. So I think at this point you need to watch carefully as I do it. Then you turn it over like this so that you have the time to time to pin this other side together. So I'm just going to pin this side first. So I am done pinning one side. I hope you understand how I did it. So let me just open it up for you to see how it looks with one side pinned to one side of the ashoke pinned to the fabric. So this is how it looks. So you're now going to turn it over like this. I hope you understand. You're going to turn it over like this and then you pin. You pin the other side this way. And that is basically it. So I'm also going to pin this down like I did the other side. Why haven't you subscribed to this channel? And if you have, thank you. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Like, share, and drop a comment. So this is how the dress looks now. I'm just going to turn it over for you to see how it looks pinned. So we're going to sew it like this. When you're sewing on your sewing machine, make sure that the ashoke is on the top because you don't want your fabric to stretch. So I am done sewing and this is how it looks. You see how beautiful this is? This is how it looks from the inside, and when I turn it over, this is how it looks from the outside. You see that that golden part that I want to show is exactly what is showing on the outside. So what we're going to do next is to just cut off the excess that we have right here. So I'm just going to cut that out. So remember I said I forgot to add the band. So that's what we're going to do. I opened the sleeve up a bit. So the band is about 2.5 inches. It's 2.5 inches. So I want the band to be 2 inches. I added 0.5 inches allowance. So I'm going to sew it like this and cover up the sleeve, sew back the sleeve, and that's it. So now we're moving to the belt. Before we fix the gathers, we are going to add the belt to it. So now we're going to fix the belt. I'm doing this because I forgot to do it from the start. So when you're sewing yours, fix your belt and the band for the sleeve before you join the dress on the side. So the width of this belt is 2 inches and the length is 25 inches long. So you can cut as long as you want. So now we're going to be measuring from our shoulder to the underbust. This is when we need the underbust measurement, 13 inches. Come down by 1 inches, so I have 14 inches. So I marked the line already, and that is where our belt is going to be placed. So remember I said I've sewn it, so you're just going to I've also opened it by the side, by the way. So I'm just going to pull it inside. However you know how to push it, just take it inside. Make sure that the belt is inside and not outside. Place it like this properly, and then when you're done, you're just going to sew. Do you get? So this is it. We have the allowance outside, and then I'm just going to pin it, and then we're going to sew by the side. I'm also going to repeat the same thing too on the other side. Remember, you take your underbust measurement, then you go down by 1 inches, and that's it. So it is now time for us to sew our gathers to the down part. So I'm going to be measuring what we have. You're going to measure what you have on this down part. So I'm going to measure that now, and what I have is 29 inches. Remember that this is both the front and the back. So I have 29 inches. 29 inches multiplied by 2, that is about, so that's 58 inches. So that is the length when you measure it round. You can measure it round or measure it the way I'm doing it. So now we know that our width is 58 inches round. So we're going to be multiplying that by 2. And that is going to be what we're going to use, what we are going to cut out, which I've already done. So 58 inches multiplied by 2. So that is 116. But for the width of this, what I cut out is 120. I just used the whole fabric that I have left. So you shouldn't go more than 2 inches multiplied by 2 inches or 2.5 inches. So remember that the full length of this dress is 39 inches. So 39 minus 26 inches that we already cut out, we have 13 inches left. So I added 1 inches for sewing allowance. Then I went ahead to add 1.5 inches for the M allowance, what we're going to use to fold the M. So this is it. This is what we have. So we have our width, which is enough for to make a gathers, and we have the length. So I'm going to make the gathers and show you how it looks, and also fold the M line. You know, we gave 1.5 inches allowance, so I'm going to fold it this way and sew, and also make the gathers. So when I'm done gathering it, I'm also going to join it by the side. Remember that our fabric is already joined, that's the main dress is already joined. So I'm going to join it by the side and attach it to this upper part. So I'm going to do that for you to see. Okay, so this is it, guys. I am done doing that. I have gathered it and I've also joined it by the side, and I've also folded the M. And when I gather, make sure that whatever you gather is up to your width. Remember that our width is 58 inches. So now at this point, at the side where we have this joining on our main fabric, we are going to try to match it up with where we have our joining on the gathered fabric. I hope you understand, so that it is not going to be obvious that we have a joining there. So after doing that, I'm just going to pin it, and you're going to make sure that everything matches the width of the upper body. Then you're going to sew round, and that's it, guys. It's quite easy to make. Thank you for watching up to this level. Please do not forget to subscribe and also drop a comment. Tell me how you feel about this tutorial. Thank you for watching, guys.